2 grants to be able to get the state to recognize that this county road, Shore Road, needed to be taken back by the community. It needed to be made safer. It needed to be made more beautiful. It is the gateway to not only our village, but to Sands Point, to Baxter Estates, to Manor Haven, and unincorporated Fort Washington, County of Hempstead. So when you really think about it, you know, this is a major thoroughfare, and we, as the village of Fort North, have kind of considered Shore Road to become our main street, and that's how we've treated it. And I hope all of you have the opportunity to see the Baywalk Park that I promised you is not finished. We're going to continue to work and build it. But getting back to this, one of the things that we noticed were crosswalks didn't exist. Crosswalks had curbs, crosswalks weren't safe, and through traffic engineers and through a lot of hard work on behalf of myself, the village, outside engineering firms, and the state, we were able to put those resources together to make the state realize that there was something to be done here. The funding from the state for the most part, but I will tell you that a significant amount of funding came from the gentleman to my right, your left, Legislator Wayne Wink, county legislator. A number of these initiatives have what they call matching components, and it was important that not only did we get money from the state, but we had a significant amount of money to match to be able to make this really happen. And through Wayne's efforts, we were able to make that happen. So when Steve approached me and said it would be wonderful we could do dedications, you know, the village has park benches that can be donated. It's a wonderful thing. You go sit on a bench. But I think this is truly special. And it has nothing to do with the incident that occurred. It has to do with, from what I understand, Lee's zest for life, his teaching ability, the fact that he sets a model for us all, and that we should be able to look at anything that's a negative and turn that into a positive. And I'm just pleased for the rabbi, for the Chabad, for the entire Fort Washington community to be able to have serviceable crosswalks not only here, but up and down Shore Road, all the way from Pleasant Avenue down to Town End. Every crosswalk has been redone. So again, on behalf of Steve, Wayne, the community support, two rabbis, I just want to thank you all, and it is our pleasure to dedicate this crosswalk on behalf of the Aschenbrenner. It was a wonderful. So we have two clergy here, which is about as good as you can get. So we will start with Rabbi Patil. And
I was going to say that indeed, it's made it a lot safer. For many, many years, we cross the street, we run across the street to get to the other side. We have elderly people who park on the Shabbos across the street, or want to walk or whatever, and they're running across. So it's really Mr. Mayor and Wayne, Steve, and everyone who's helped, it's made it safer. As you're peeling that off, I couldn't help think of the fact that when I cross that street, I'm sort of entering Chabad territory. This will be like the mezuzah. Give Lee a little kiss, and the mezuzah is about safety and protection. So I want to just say to the loving family, like any shepherd, you understand, at the end of the day, people lost a loved one, a vibrant loved one. And to me, the only comfort is the knowledge that he's out there. This is part of Jewish faith. This has been part of our faith since time immemorial. The soul is eternal. But I believe that in recent times, science has caught up to Torah. Science has proven that energies are not destructible. They teach it in school. They taught it in Guggenheim. 7th grade, 6th grade, they teach children that if you blow out a flame of a candle, you cannot destroy the energy of the candle. Even if you can't see it, it's out there. Lee is a gigantic soul, a gigantic candle. He's out there. And he's looking down, he's proud of his family. This is part of our faith, and I believe in science. I tested my theory, by the way, on a science guru who came here for one of our bat mitzvahs. He was the head of the science department at the middle school, because the girl having the bat mitzvah was a big science macher camp. And I go over to the fellow, and people tell me, who's here, Dr. So-and-so, I don't remember the name, the Weber science guru. So I say, great, I'll test my theory, and I walk up to him at lunch, and I say, Dr. So-and-so, what do you think of my life after death? And he says to me, Rabbi, He says, if it makes you feel better, you can believe in it. But I only believe what I can prove. I'm a scientist. So I said to him what I just told you. I said, look, you've proven that energies are not destructible. We teach children if you blow out a flame, the energy is forever because it's not matter, it's energy. Why are we discriminating against a soul which has got to be 1 billion candle power? Of course, if the energy of the candle is there, the person is there. Father, a grandfather, a friend, etc. The fellow looked at me, gave me a long pregnant pause. And he said, you put it that way, Rabbi, I guess we don't disagree. So I'm sharing with you. At the end of the day, he's out there. And just to close with a verse from the Talmud. The Talmud says a famous verse. Yemena nili nili. If I'm not for me, who will be for me? And I'm going to paraphrase and say, Yemena nili. If you and I are not going to act like Lee and try to live his legacy, me Lee. We live on, we continue Lee and the great person that he was, the educator and the special person that he was. And of course here at Chabad, we'll always remember him with our little mezuzah. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. I had the good fortune of honoring Lee several years ago, I think when the community chest honored him. But this, I think, is an equally important honor, quite frankly. You know, being in Nassau County, you know, this is a county road. It's an ever-increasing, in terms of volume and in terms of speed, county road. But too often I found that when you talk to departments of public works and departments of transportation, their goal is to get people from point A to point B as quickly and efficiently as possible. Well, that's great for the people behind the wheel. It's not so great for the people walking these streets. And these streets are populated with all kinds of people walking for recreation, exercise, people walking for business, people going to and from work, people going to and from houses of worship. So clearly we need to realize that it's not just about getting people from point A to point B. It's about getting them there safely and getting the people around them to their points of destination safely as well. And that's one of the things in my tenure at the county legislature I've worked very hard to try to make sure of, that we don't forget that it's not just the people behind the wheel, but it's the people who are coexisting with those people that we need to service as well. This, I think, will go a long way to that end. I was glad that Nassau County, even if it wasn't our idea initially, because county public works is all about building and improving elsewhere, but they forget oftentimes about maintaining and correcting problems that exist in the county. I'm so glad that Bob Weissner had the vision to go forward with this. I'm glad that we could come across with money to help make this vision reality. And I'm glad that we have our members of the Nassau County Police Department who, along with the Port Washington Police, patrol this area and protect us all. So I want to thank you for being here, all of you as well. And most of all, I want to thank Lee's family for being here, because this is, I think, a hopeful day for the future. So I want to thank you very much.
So many of you who are here probably know the Talmudic dictum, one who saves a single life, you saved the whole world. We don't know how many worlds are going to be saved, but I can tell you that it was countless the worlds that Lee saved. Because our rabbis teach us that a parent gives us a life in this world, but a teacher gives us a life in this world and in the Olam Haba, in the world to come. I only knew Lee at the end of his life, but he was always a teacher. And in very, very short order, I fell in love with Lee. It was pretty easy to fall in love with Lee and with Keith. They were and are an amazing duo. Lee was one of the strongest, most independent, most open-minded, most compassionate people I knew. He did things his way. When everybody else would stand at L'chadodi towards the door, he would sit. When we were talking about a new person on our team, that other people said maybe we shouldn't hire somebody because other people in the community might not be comfortable with somebody who's gay, he said, shame on us. Let's judge the person for who they are and what they are, not for the choices that they make for who they love. he somehow found an ability to open his heart in a way that opened so many students year after year, decade after decade. He was a morer, he was the guider and the teacher par excellence. He gave us so many worlds, and as Rabbi Paltiel said, he is still here. He is still a part of us, and when we see this, when we drive by here, when we walk here, we will remember that there are many worlds that have been given to us because of him, and so many countless worlds that will be saved because so many shared his vision here in the village, here in the county. The police officers and safety officers of